Everybody, welcome to another Conquest video. I'm excited to share some teams that have been helping me breeze my way through Conquest this season. But there's a few things to go over first. First, with my priorities, they haven't really changed since my first video about getting your Conquest priority straight. I still think going through one-shotting every team first time and 3-starring is more important than getting every global and sector feat done first run through, although you do want to prioritize those after. So if you can, you want to 3-star, get global feats and sector feats. Sounds simple, obviously, why wouldn't you want to do that? But that just means don't push your luck against a super strong team like a Darth Revan. That's not the time to try and shove in Princess Leia, Farm Boy Luke, and old Ben. But with some of the comps, you're going to be able to use 3-star with those 3 characters on your team quite a lot based on some of the comps I have. So those are the main priorities. And let me also just go over which feats I'm going to skip before I go into what data discs I'll use. So basically all the feats I plan on skipping are Inquisitor related. Defeat 50 enemies with Inquisitor units, I could do it. I could also do Purge, but I don't think they're worth it for just 5 key cards. And beating enemies with Inquisitores is a little bit harder this time around because we don't have Amplify Agony to lean on. Torture also is just not really in the cards. The only one I have that can do it is that new Marquis droid. I don't have Grand Inquisitor, so can't do Torture. It wouldn't be worth it anyway, even if I had him. And then I'm pretty much precluded from that Grand Inquisitor surviving, obviously because I don't have him. And they did us a favor this time, moving the win with a full squad of Inquisitors to the global feats. Saves a lot of time because that's a 40 battle feat that I can just write off, where it used to be just 14. So that saves me 26 battles before I even start looking at the other feats. Now I want to go over my recommended data discs, and I'll show you what I actually have found so far in a second. But we don't have Amplify Agony anymore, so you're definitely going to want to drop Volatile Accelerator as well. They used to be up here at the top. Without Amplify Agony, Volatile Accelerator is not that great. And Unstable Decelerator, it might find some use, but you're not dealing a ton of damage just by the fact of merely hitting an enemy anymore. So for the main damage drivers, I recommend 2 Zealous Ambitions. And obviously blue if you can get them, but I have some footage of massive damage that I'll show later. Admiral Raddus one-shotting a team in 2 seconds, 5 seconds, Dash almost one-shotting a team with just 1 green Zealous Ambition. So I think that's definitely the way to go for damage now. Ruthless Swiftness, still a priority. You want to keep the train going once you poke through the enemy health. And Entrenched is back, so I recommend getting Entrenched over Critical Formation if you can find it. Entrenched is definitely very strong. Adding more Entrenched is never bad. If you wanted to drop a Ruthless Swiftness or something, that would make sense. I could see even going for extra Entrenched over Voluntary Vanguard, but I do think Voluntary Vanguard is still a staple that you want to keep. And this is a new one, Fortified. It's 3 dots, but in my mind that just replaces Volatile Accelerator. You get 200% defense at the start of the battle, which is awesome on its own. But then whenever you're damaged by an enemy, you lose some of it, but you gain 3% turn meter, which you get 50 back if you defeat an enemy. So that's great for keeping you alive. And if the other team is way too fast, which often happens in Conquest, you're going to be able to go much sooner than you would before. So how far have I actually gotten so far with these feats? Well, the global feats are much easier this time. Enemies, that's always a joke. Defeat 100 enemies with JMK or General Kenobi. I already got 53 after 1 day. And the easiest way is putting GK with a JML team and having a JMK team, which is centered around him attacking. But I've also already got 7 of the Leia, Kenobi, Luke's Farm Boy feat done, so that one's coming along pretty smoothly. And winning with Jedi, that's easy. Jedi are an awesome faction. You want to use them anyway. It's not like First Order and Resistance where you really had to figure it out. Obviously skipping this, and I can't do these yet because they require special data discs. In Sector 1, I got through dropping 1 star, which was unfortunate. I forget what exactly happened, but on the feats, I got the 2 that I wanted, Stealth and Jedi. I didn't get Purge or Torture, but of course I'm skipping those. And I have to come back for the mini boss and end boss feats because they make it so you can only do 1 at a time. And then Sector 2, I also got through it, dropping 1 star, and got all these. There's a team where you can get all this in one shot, but I don't recommend it because you're not going to 3-star that node, and you can get defense up anyway easily. And also 20 health steals easily, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm into Sector 3, and currently I have 2 Zealous Ambition, 3 Ruthless Swiftness that are green, and 1 Fortified. And that's been working great for me. But now let's get into the comps I'm using. Alright, here we are at my Conquest Loadout tab. I got about 17 or 18 teams here. And up top, we're going to go through the global feats recommendations and go down through the sectors. So further on we'll be going from Sector 1 to Sector 5. So here, this is my best cheese idea for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Princess Leia, and Luke. Is Rey to protect, put Lifeblood on Farm Boy Luke because he's the weakest. And then Dash does the main damage. His AoE, since he's a support, I had just 1 green Zealous Ambition on him, and he basically one-shot like a whole Ewok team, then he almost one-shot a whole Jawa team, and I was able, as you saw, I've been able to 3-star 7 times using this team without refreshing stamina. So that is an amazing team. Next up, we got the Jedi Master Luke team, and this is all directed towards getting kills through GK. Basically, everyone here either can call an assist or can kind of manipulate the field. Revan can swap turn meter, and he's not doing that much damage. But it's just going to be everyone calling GK to attack constantly. And as I said earlier, I think it's easier to get wins with GK. And it's just easier to get kills with them because Jedi Master Luke allows them to hit like a truck, or anyone to hit like a truck for that matter. And then we got JMK. This team is all Jedi because I want all Jedi, so I'm not using Cat or Padme. So this will help towards that global feat. And you want to call assist to JMK as much as possible. He's not like the biggest damage dealer on his teams. Usually you got Cat or Gas that's doing a lot of damage. But I also have Barris here. This helps get defense up, and Yoda spreads it. And Shakti calls assists. Mace can swap turn meter, so this is just a good team for him, and it leaves some great Galactic Republic Jedi to use that I'll show later on. Next up, I got this Sith Stealths team, which is awesome for getting stealth up in Sector 1, and you're going to get a lot. You're going to get a bunch right at the beginning, and anytime you evade an attack, you're going to get stealth. And I just threw the Darth Revan, Bastila, and Malak because Darth Maul doesn't do a lot of damage on his own, so you want some damage dealers. Also Darth Talon just to speed things up. So these guys are fast, deal a lot of damage. And I don't have a lot of use for Sith Empire-led teams. They are good, but I usually use Bastila with other Sith because she's a support, and she's actually doing a ton of damage on her own. Next up, this team is not new, but it's an oldie but a goodie for me. This is a clone team, which is all support or tank. It's just 1 tank. And the support are doing a ton of damage. It doesn't work exactly the same as last time because you're not getting damage just from debuffs or just from touching them. But Echo and Echo do a ton of damage, and usually it finishes out with Echo throwing his grenade and doing a ton of damage to a bunch of different enemies. Next, we got another oldie but goodie. This is the all Sith team that is all support and tank. Just make sure your Malak isn't too low stamina from doing the stealth feat in Sector 1. But these guys hit really hard. Even Nihilus hits pretty hard. He hits like over 50k on his AoE. Since they're support, they're just getting juiced up from Zealous Ambition. And Bastila Shan Fallen hits like a truck. Palpatine, for me right now, is hitting close to 100,000 on his basic. But he is also here for the health steal up, so just use that second special first and just cycle back around to your turns. You can get it in just a couple battles. Awesome team, very strong. I haven't had an opportunity to run this team yet, the Stagger Empire, because that's for a feat later on that I haven't gotten to. But the theory is you got a tank to protect you, and these 3 deal AoE stagger, so you should be able to get quite a few early, as long as you can survive. But the that defensive, or that formation data disk, I forget what it's called already. Should help you get there, help you survive, get some turn meter, and then Mara Jade will just take it away. And you get AoE stagger with these guys, which are pretty weak, but they come in handy for that purpose. Next up, we got my best attempt at a team that could maybe get a bunch of Masters Training up in Sector 3. So it's built around Hermit Yoda. You got GK because he doesn't do a ton of damage and he can help survive. Hand out critical damage immunity and foresight. But the idea is you want to get translation on Hermit Yoda with C-3PO, which you can only do through his special because he doesn't passively hand out translation to Jedi. And as far as I can tell, you want to put the weapon tech on C-3PO so he gets more turns, and you might even want to slow down your Hermit Yoda. I don't know if taking mods off entirely is the way to go, but maybe slow him down to like 200 speed. And then you want the health pack on Rey so she can constantly just do lifeblood and not kill anybody. So yeah, this, I don't know how many you could get one shot, but I would recommend doing it on a mini boss so you have more time to work with. And then this team, it's not doing as much as it did before the Amplify Agony, but it's still a super strong team. Getting to go first with Han is awesome. And this helps out in Sector 4 because you need Rebels kills. So just simple team, not much I need to say about it. This is kind of the star of the show for me, at least this round. And I named it Chadmiral Raddus because Raddus is insane with Zealous Ambition. I one-shot First Order team in 2 seconds. What the heck? And then also a General Grievous team in 5 seconds, which only took 5 seconds because Watt took a turn first, and Magna Guard survived to poke us a bit. But then he just died. This team is unbelievable. Mainly just because of Admiral Raddus, but you can double dip in Sector 4 because this has no attackers and it's all Rebels. Cassian's surprisingly a support, R2 support, Scarif a tank that can come back, so awesome for 3-star, and then Biggs is also surprisingly support, and he calls an assist. And he's great because when he gets critically hit, he gains 100% turn meter, and if he calls Raddus to assist or pokes through and gets someone below 100% health, you're going to get the turn meter train running. So this is a great team. I wouldn't use it against Darth Revan though. That's the only match I've lost so far. I was pushing my luck, hoping I could one-shot the whole team. And I did kill 2 and almost killed Malik, but Darth Revan and Bastila have foresight, so that didn't work. Next up, we just got 2 trooper teams. I mean, this is for Sector 4, or even 3 if you want Empire kills with them. Nothing special about these guys. I think Iden might be a little more useful, but they are all attackers or tanks, so they're not getting that Zealous Ambition boost. But the fact that she goes first is handy. I'm not sure what you should use her against yet. And then we got the standard Imperial Trooper command team, which is awesome as long as you can get to go first. But I think that data disc that gives protection or turn meter for getting hit and the defense will help a lot to get Piet to go and get that turn meter train running. Now we got another Jedi team, and this is for the evasion down on Sector 4. Basically just keep calling Obi-Wan Kenobi to assist because he does evasion down on his basic, and you're also going to get evasion hopefully because you get foresight with Hermit Yoda, and it also has no attackers, which you need in Sector 4. So, solid team. Alright, we got 2 teams for Sector 5 now. You need 60 ability blocks and 50 bounty hunter kills. So bounty hunters, I mean, this team would be better with the Amplify Agony Volatile Accelerator combo. It doesn't have support characters except Grief, but even with Zealous Ambition, he doesn't hit very hard. He has a very low multiplier. But it's a good team. I mean, it will take longer, but the AoE ability block with Boba helps for that feat. And this is probably the strongest team you can have with bounty hunters, unless you have Jabba. Jabba will make it a lot easier. But you could swap out Boba Fett if you have that feat already. And this should be decently safe to 3-star, and it won't be fast or flashy, but there's no way around those bounty hunter kills. This team, the blind evade ability block, is awesome. I don't recommend trying to get blind through a normal CLS team. You're going to get some, but chances are you'll kill off some enemies first. But I recommend taking this team in to a mini boss feat Give the Terminator tech to 3PO, give the health pack to Rey, and then give maybe the tank tech to Old Ben or something. But you want to refresh their abilities once they get translation on them. So you can constantly AoE with Old Ben, get ability block constantly, inflict blind with 3PO and Chewie, and you could possibly even get all his feats in one battle. So don't sweat him on your first run through, or just try it out on that mini boss. Just skip that feat, that one of those 2 mini boss feats for the first run, because you'll probably be excluded because of Rey. But yeah, I think this team will do a lot and should 3-star. I know I got my last 2 teams, and Sortie is awesome as long as you have her built up. So I finally finished her, got her to R5, and she also can melt teams in a few seconds. Her AoE hits a few times, 3 times on all enemies, and she's a support, and she's got a good health pool, so she just wrecks their face. And even if she doesn't right away, you got R2 as an AoE, BB-8 counterattacks, AoE, and IG-11 is a healer and has a ton of health, so he does a lot of damage as well. We got Chad May and friends. Chad May is the only support here, but she can hit like a truck. And you also, based on the other teams I recommended, you have a lot of good Galactic Republic left over. Cat, because she's not a Jedi. You don't want to throw her with Jedi Master Kenobi, because he's trying to get that feat done, and he's trying to get the kills himself. You got Gas, because I think clones definitely work better on their own in Conquest. Gas Lead is slower, and he doesn't hit that hard, surprisingly, anymore. And then you got Ahsoka and Jedi Knight Anakin, which are staples to the old Padme team. But this team can take on some tough stuff. It's not really getting any feats done, but it is a safe 3-star option. So next I just wanted to do a live test run with Admiral Radd's team. They're at 89%, and this is going against a Tusken team in Sector 3. They're actually very fast, so they usually run circles around, but let's see if I can get a move off and wreck them with Admiral Raddus. You know, that's not as good as other teams I've seen, or other teams I've beaten, but it's still an awesome. Let's see, 130,000 non-crit on the basic. That's insane. And I'll just put it on a low. Another note, General Grievous isn't as good without that data disc set. I do think 95,000. I think this team is the new team to spam first when you're doing your Datacron farming. But how easy was that? So that's it for today. Those are my recommendations. I'm actually enjoying this Conquest so far. I do think it's a lot easier than last Conquest as far as feats. But let me know if you disagree. Let me know what data disc sets you're using and what squads. I'd like to hear from you down below. Thanks for watching.